need 'em, need 'em. Back up, back up.
We are condensing! We are condensing! Get ready! Look at the police! It's so good.
I started off yesterday super optimistic. Everyone was texting me and asking me who was going to win, and I told them not to worry. And I told them that we were going to be fine. And then we actually were all watching the election together, and as the swing state started to go his way, I just felt like this sinking feeling in my stomach. Like I didn't know where I lived, and like I didn't know my country, and like the faith I had in the people around me was not founded in reality.
After the election, it was rough. There was about 36 hours of just ultimate and awful despair. I can't just let this be normal. I don't know what he's gonna do, and that in itself, I think, is the scariest part.
It's a lot easier to follow and get educated and get involved in because of social media. But at the same time, I was talking to my friend Jackie, who was she was a Trump supporter, but I am friends with her, and I will say she is not like racist. She is not scared of people for their religions. She's not homophobic or anything like that. And a friend of hers that she's had since 2nd grade had texted her saying, "Look, I love you, but I'm unfollowing you on social media because you post Trump things, and that personally offends me." And it's really sad to see the divide that this election has brought about. People who are friends are sort of pushing away from each other because they might disagree on fundamental views and stuff like that. It's, people can have different opinions, but as long as they're not actively hurting anyone, I think their opinions need to be respected either way.
It's very important that we don't stay silent in the face of real hatred that is brewing in this country, and that's come out from underneath, out of the shadows, practically become almost mainstream. And I think we're getting closer and closer to normalizing this view of the white male race is superior to everyone else, because that's really what Trump's most fervent, most racist, supremacist supporters it comes down to, is the white male.
This was and maybe this is just because this was the first election that I was old enough to vote in, but it did seem like this election was more personal.
You have someone who openly said, grab her by the pussy. How do you feel comfortable voting for a man who didn't care about walking into Miss USA or whatever pageants, changing rooms, while they were completely naked, thinking it's okay? Some of these girls were underage. The amount of sexual assault cases that came up, or people who felt harassed by Trump sexually, all of these women stepped forward and no one cared.
I've already come across so many beautiful people that I've met who want to be in this country, who are undocumented, and who want to be citizens more than the average citizen. People take this privilege for granted all the time, and it's so gross that it's like you're gonna deny it from people who lived here their whole lives and who have families who live here, who contribute to the economy, and who do so much and receive so little compared to everyone else.
The thing is, when you have hate, you can't have an open discussion. You cannot have hate and talk about love.
A possibility of the Equal Marriage Act being, reversed. He stated that he would appoint someone in the Supreme Court who would work towards overturning that decision. And I met my boyfriend in college, and I love him, and I see him as someone who I really want to spend the rest of my life with. And the fact that now that right is under attack after just getting it in 2015, it's ridiculous, and it's very scary.
In the next week, organizations around the country will be planning what's the plan, where do we go from here, how do we stop Trump in new and radical ways that we haven't thought about before, right? Are we attacking this through a legislative way, through legality, lawsuits. What are we doing? We don't know yet, right?
Now that Donald Trump won, I know that me and my family and the other undocumented immigrant community are under attack. And we're the first ones on top of the priority list of going back to our countries and being sent back.
I try not to have hope for government, for legislative bodies, for that, right? Like, my hope lies in the people. My hope lies in everybody that came out today. My hope lies in Jocelyn. My hope lies in myself and in the people that support me. And that's where it's going to come from, right? It's going to come grassroots. It's going to come through civil disobedience. It's going to come through direct action, pressuring officials, elected officials, and pressuring the government.
Students of color, undocumented students, women, sexual assault victims, LGBTQIA folks, and many other marginalized students have historically felt unsafe and unsupported on this campus. The resources we have, although present, have not been sufficient in fostering a safe environment for marginalized communities on campus. Trump's presidency has incited a new wave of fear and vulnerability that the university needs to address.
It's weird, like walking that fine line of public outrage and protests. I mean, assuming everything's peaceful, it's your First Amendment right, and you should politically stand for what you believe in. And then on the other side of the argument, coming together as a country and healing wounds and standing behind our new president-elect. And like, I don't know where. Everyone needs to make a personal choice of where they fall on that decision.
My name is Eric Cruz Lopez. I'm an undocumented student from Mexico.
I'm Jocelyn Lacomulco. I am an undocumented student here at UConn.
My name is Jacob.
I'm Salma Youssef. I am an African Arab Muslim woman in the United States.
My name is Ian Adamite.
My name is Kate Nobler. I'm a woman. I'm a humanitarian.
And I do not support Donald Trump.
And Donald Trump is not my president.
And I believe that this country is learning through one large mistake that it's making.
Tú eres mi otro yo. You are my other me. Si te hago daño a ti, if I do harm to you, me hago daño a mí mismo. I do harm to myself. Si te amo y te respeto, if I love and respect you, me amo y me respeto yo. I love and respect myself. En la calle.